You can easily click off if you don't agree. And to be honest, I really don't care who doesn't agree, because at the end of the day, I really don't have to be doing this. I don't have to work. I'm still, whether you like me or not, I'm still going to be rocking Chanel and driving a Porsche. So, you know, was that earlier today or yesterday? Like, oh, I could never date an older man. I can never date a man that doesn't have any swag. Why are you here? Why are you here? You are not ready. You are not going to get this lifestyle because you don't deserve it. So, as we know, most men don't prefer to date women that have already had children with somebody else. But if a man sees a woman who is a single mom being such a great mom, then it'll make him a lot more likely to reconsider dating someone with children. It's actually super sexy to see a woman mothering her children well and creating.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be a bit of a follow-up from my last video on the new trophy wife. I'm sure you guys have seen the unfortunate news of what happened with her and her family, but there was an update on and I kind of had the feeling this was going to happen. You can go rewatch my last video, or if you haven't seen it already, go check it out, because I definitely called that a lot of people did feel like her energy was like off, but we're going to get into that later. But I definitely did feel like people were going to use this as a aha, got you moment. This is what all you gold diggers get type thing. And a lot of people did not surprise me. I wasn't shocked. The people that couldn't wait to say that, and her being a exotical, and exotical makes her like an easy target for, the pretty girl lifestyle, or, just wanting to do hypergamy and stuff like that. So if you know my channel, you know that I like to speak on spiritual things sometimes. So when I think about women and our relationships with one another, for example, I always say that if two guys find out they're sleeping with the same girl, they high five. But if two girls find out they're sleeping with the same guy, they beef for life, even when that man is long gone. So there's something like inherently sinister about women in our relationships with one another, to the point to where we can't even focus on the problem at hand. Excuse me. And I've said this multiple times on this channel when it comes to like Chrissy and Exoticals United, and when it's like, hey, they didn't create colorism. They're not the reason why other people are insecure. Why not work together? Why not, I'm not saying things have to be kumbaya all the time, but it's like, you're not seeing the elephant in the room, or the snake under the rug, or something like that. So, and that's men. And in this whole situation, y'all care more about saying, ha, this is what you gold diggers get, than accepting the fact that there are monsters among us. And again, when it comes to the spiritual aspect of it, I've mentioned the universe guru. Her name is Mina Fran many times in my videos, and I saw that EU shouted her out, which is super cool. But she, she has many different spiritual terms to help me understand how to live in unison with the masculine energy, and how to identify those that are monsters and demons. And even she said, and I remember Chrissy bringing up, because people were telling Chrissy, like, oh, it's impossible to vet because she did everything right and look what happened to her. And Chrissy was like, no, I don't know if I agree with that, because there were a lot of red flags, which I totally agree with. But when it comes to Mina, where she comes from, and I mentioned this in my last video, her culture is very strict when it comes to vetting. So they do a little bit more than just a background check and a look on your social media. But she said something about the fact that you can't vet a demon. And when someone is possessed with something, their outer appearance, their family life, it may look a certain way, but when they have something inherently like evil in them, you can't really vet that. That's not something, unless you are spiritually inclined, you would necessarily be able to see, So that's my personal opinion on that part. Yeah, so I brought up the whole Eve versus Liv thing because the news in this upcoming story is basically the niece of the guy accused of doing these horrific things has spoken out. And I caught her drift and her energy from like a mile away before she even opened her mouth. In my person, and mind you, when I say Eve versus Liv, you can't like put these in like the gold digger or pick me. Like, it's not like that. It's all about your soul and your moral compass and what you believe in, what the greater good is for you. And some women, if they have too much of an Eve mentality, they think that every person with a penis is their son. And they will give that man the benefit of a doubt until there's no way that you can possibly say they didn't do it. And I'm not saying that's inherently a bad thing. I think Eve energy is a very sacred. Eve is meant to be underneath Adam, and that's like a sacred thing. The bond between masculine and feminine, and mother and child, and how there are different rankings, spiritually. But that can be defiled really easily when you're dealing with a masculine that is, demonic. And that's exactly what happened in this situation. And I'm going to go ahead and play you guys the video of that. But the whole time, this lady is basically saying, you wanted to come up on a bag and this is what you get and da 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 da. And basically just wanting to make the new trophy wife seem like a terrible mother and a terrible person and saying that she's crazy. It's almost like you care more about defaming a woman you're jealous of, clearly, than protecting children at any cost. And this is what I mean when I say some people, their inner moral code is always going to lie with their oppressor. And if colorism ain't taught you that, I don't know what will, right? So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play you guys this video, so sit back and enjoy.
Her name is Isis, or Paloma, which is her real name. This lady is completely insane. Let's just start from there. Background story. Her and my uncle got together really quick. From what I've been seeing and what I've been told, she thought that she was getting a come up with my uncle. But then when things didn't go her way and she pretty much seen that she could no longer hide the things that she was doing behind closed doors, she ended up trying to find a different route, which was to come on here and lie to you all and tell you that her daughter had been touched by her dad, which that is not the case. Her daughter had been touched by her son, and she didn't want anybody to know because she wanted to try to make it seem like my uncle was the bad guy because she wasn't getting what she wanted in the divorce. I always think that they're the bad guys because it goes both ways. And I am a mother of a black little boy. So for me, I can understand why she would want to cover up for her son, but at the same time, me personally, if my son is doing anything like that and I have other kids, I want to get him the best help possible away from his siblings until he is confirmed better. And I know he's no longer a threat to the other kids in the house, because you can't just sit over there and single out one kid and be like, oh, I'm going to protect this one, but whatever happens to the other ones just happens. That's not okay. And then you want to sit over here and portray to these women out here that, oh, it's okay to be a trophy wife. Just go for that rich man type deal. No, how about go get your own money? How about stop. Please, ladies, please stop waiting on a man to fulfill your life financially, spiritually, emotionally, all this other extra stuff, and find your own way. Do that. Because when you find your own way and you know your self-worth and you know what you are capable of and what you will tolerate and what you won't tolerate, then the good man will come find you. But until you know your self-worth, you're just going to keep picking up anything off the street and being like, oh, okay, he got a little bit of money in his pocket, so he going to treat me right. No. Because the one thing that you don't realize is that man that has that money, he's also got a little brain in his head too. So he also is already aware of these women that's coming out here to do these things to him or to try to trap him in these ways. Just for money or attention or the clout or whatever. Like, come on. We are in 2024, about to be 2025. Why are we still doing these same little tricks? Somebody needs to be teaching y'all how to make your own money, how to get your own way. So then that way, when you do find that good man with a lot of money, then y'all can build together instead of sitting over there waiting for him to give you an allowance or whatever your little stipend for the month. Be real. But just want to let y'all know, for the crusties and the dusties, please be mindful of what you put out here on the internet, because you could be getting a lawsuit coming to your doorstep for you putting out accusations of stuff that you have no idea about. Everything that I'm telling you right now on this computer screen or on this platform, I'm letting you know that this is the truth. This woman is no records that she has been, that little girl has been touched by my uncle. No records. She tried to put it on my uncle that he abused her youngest son, which loves my uncle to death. But the day that her and her ex tried to put out there that my uncle had abused her son, he wasn't in the state. He wasn't nowhere near. So once they went to the hospital and they took the little boy to the hospital, the one thing that they didn't do this time is the social workers pulled him aside and started asking him questions and asked him, who hurt you? Come to find out, the little boy told and said that it was her. Not only that, her oldest son, as soon as the hospital said, oh my gosh, the baby's been touched, he would have been in booking right away. He wouldn't be out right now working. He wouldn't be out right now being bothered with all of this extra stuff that you're putting on him because of the fact that you want money. Like, what mother uses this platform to sit up there and say my babies have been raped or my babies have been touched, excuse me, and then sit over there and then try to put a GoFundMe page up? You know why she's putting that GoFundMe page up? Because my uncle has had enough. He's not giving you any money. He's not sitting over there playing into your little schemes where she sits over there and tries to have her kid's father call his phone to get him to talk to the kids so that she can say he's in breach of a restraining order.
Yeah, so what this sounds like to me is it's pretty classic. I even know like stories of men with children that they neglect and just completely ignore. And whenever they get into a new relationship, they'll say something like, "Oh, my baby mama don't let me see my kids," and just go in on the woman. And some dumb lady will always believe it and help him attack her until he does the same thing to you. And now you and the baby mama best friends because y'all want to talk shit over him because he with the new girl. Like I've literally seen it, and this is classic Eve archetype where, you know, you just don't want to take another woman's side no matter what. You will always take another man's side. And I definitely notice this dynamics in black families a lot where that little creepy uncle that always touched on people and everyone said, "Oh, Uncle so and so is coming over, put some pants on." He's still at the church. He's still at the family reunions. But let the cousin that has the OnlyFans or the cousin that used to be a crackhead or the cousin that used to be a stripper come in, and it's an issue when you're the one that created something like that. But these guys never get held accountable because of women like this. And even I feel like I'm falling into the trap of wanting to blame this woman more than the man, but that's because this man is being protected not only by her, but by the person that, accused him of it, the ex-wife, the mother. And a lot of people feel like the stuff that she did was especially like, why come to the internet? Why put this out there? Your child is young enough to not remember this. Why would you want to put something like this on the internet? So I'm gonna get into my opinion on that later, by the way. But first, here's the video of the new trophy wife's response.
Hi, everyone. I couldn't get on here fast enough. I couldn't get on here fast enough when I heard people were trying to blame my son. I couldn't get on here fast enough. Couldn't get on here fast enough. I thought I heard someone who I've never met in my life coming on here trying to blame my son. Someone whom I've never met in my life trying to come on here and blame my son for the sick and disgusting things that my daughter's father was doing. This is not a game. This is not a game. How dare you? How dare you blame this on an innocent child? You talk about you got proof? You have proof? I've got proof right here. Right here. Show me your paperwork. Show me your paperwork. You talk about I am saying something different than when I was in court. Honey, you weren't even there. I've seen you in my life. It's not very good. Oh my gosh. Y'all want to see my protective order? Y'all want to see my protective order right here? I'm going to cover my daughter's name. I'm going to cover my daughter's name. In the case of a vulnerable adult and a minor child, a relative, there is a preponderance of the evidence to believe that the respondent committed the following acts of abuse: statutory abuse of a child, R word, or a statutory S offense. Father has been coming into two-year-old and 4-year-old daughter's rooms and SAing them. This is from the judge. There's the case number. It matches the records. There's the proof. There's the proof. There's the proof. I'm done. That's all. I'm done.
So, yeah, when it comes to the situation, I definitely feel like the family of the abuser is going to coddle him and protect him like they always do. But what I was mentioning earlier is that, this mother was protecting this man's identity too. Now, I'm not 100% sure why she would do something like that. But a lot of people felt like you're coming to the internet, but you don't want people to reveal the pictures of who this man is or like give us your husband's name, because she took all of the pictures off social media. And when people, that had some saved pictures or whatever, posted him, like this is the guy. And I find that people are doing it nowadays, which is great. Like if something happens to a victim, like whoever, a woman, child, whatever, instead of saying, oh, remember what happened to John Bonet, they'll say, no, remember what happened to her murderer, such and such, like something like that. Like instead of like, sensationalizing someone's passing, when you can just call out the murderer or something like that. I like when people like do stuff like that, because it takes away from like the sensation. I think there was even like a story like with a little girl in India, and she was assaulted, and there was a woman, she was a nurse woman in India too, and what they did to her was brutal. And they would just keep showing pictures of the girl and the child. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, show the pictures of the faces of the men who did this, say their names, kind of like with Black Lives Matter, when we all knew who died or got shot, but none of us knew the names of the cops that did it until George Zimmerman. And now whenever something like this happens, we remember the names. So that's what I thought people were doing. And she would not let them do it. Like, she was against, his information being out there. And I did kind of find that weird. So I'm going to tell you guys my personal opinion. And again, this is all alleged. This is all assumptions. I don't know anything about the story other than what I've shared with you guys. But my personal opinion is, and I'm just using like my own, because sometimes like I have like this sixth sense where I can like pick up on stuff like spiritually, but this is just for fun. And all this is alleged. I have an inkling that she didn't know that he was doing this, but there were signs and she ignored them. And when it got to the point to where it was no longer ignorable, she had to face the fact that this is what he's done and people are going to find out. She used it as leverage over his head. I do believe he assaulted her 4 times or whatever at the beginning of their marriage. But I think she told herself, like, as long as my family is taken care of and the lifestyle that I want is here, I can put up with this. And the moment that he started penny pinching and touching the kids, that's when it's like, well, damn, my life is not taken care of. My family is not protected. What's the point of me even being here? So I think she figured that out and leveraged it over him, thinking she could, because I think that's why she didn't divorce him so quick. Because if I find out something like this, you're done. Like, there is no back and forth, work it out, talk, none of that. So I think that that's what she tried to do, and he just did not want to do that. So he ran to his family, who would coddle him. And yeah, and now we have this lady saying that there's no police report saying that the police think he did it, when there is, But that doesn't take the trophy wife girl off the hot seat, because it's just way too many red flags. It's way too many red flags. Like, You say that he essayed you 4 times, but you let him around children, little girls at that. Like, that's a red flag. And then it was like, when it comes to her situation, the thing that I don't understand is, why would you protect his identity? And why would you keep your children around him once you know that he's a predator? Any type of predator is another type of predator. If he can date a woman half his age and rape her, what makes you think he's not going to do it to a child? You know what I mean? Like, there's just something off about that. And a lot of people got that vibe before the other lady even came out, even though I think they're both kind of nuts, if you ask me. But again, the person that should be punished is the guy. So I couldn't find any pictures of him, but if you guys have any, let me know and I will post them, because it's just sick. And I think, bad behavior deserves to be punished. And people are so gun-ho on saying, look, that's what you gold diggers get, instead of realizing that a child is safe and that should be celebrated, and that we should enforce more, safeguards to prevent this from happening again. But that's not what people care about. The lady in that video, she didn't say, oh, I'm glad the kids is safe, I'm glad the kids is this. She just wanted to make the other lady, this is how you know. If you are in a friend group or you're looking at a situation and you're the judge and there's 2 people back and forth and they're both saying they're the innocent one and one is the bad one, the way you know who the bad guy is that the good guy is just explaining to you what happened from point A to point B. I came in, it was Tuesday, 10 o'clock, this one happened, so I did this. Whereas the bad guy, they don't care about details. They don't care about any of that. All their entire mission is to make you think the other person is such a bad person that nothing they can say can be trusted. And that's how you know when someone is, manipulating a situation and doesn't care about the facts. They just want to make sure that other person gets punished. That's how you know. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you and have a beautiful day.